with a lot of distinguished guests here. Madam Secretary, good to have you here. Here in Rainsville, Alabama, and DeKalb County. Director Davis, glad that you're here in North Alabama as well. Of course, the members of the council, I know we have DeKalb County officials that are here, and of course everyone that's here in the county has a special interest in this area. It's a pleasure for us to be with you this afternoon. And it's always good to be in DeKalb County, and especially up here on Sand Mountain. And of course, it's one of the most beautiful places that I have to represent, and so I'm always honored to be up in this part of the 4th Congressional District. But more importantly, it's good to be here this afternoon for this announcement. This announcement by the United States Department of Agriculture. And why that's important to me is because I have the privilege of chairing the subcommittee on appropriation that funds the Department of Agriculture. And this is a department that I work very closely with, and the subcommittee that I have the privilege of chairing in Washington, D.C. We work very, very close, hand in hand with USDA, and especially with rural development. And so it's extra special occasion for me. No question that this loan to the city of Rainsville to receive this USDA grant and loan will play a large role in the future of the Rainsville and the whole entire area, not only for its growth, but also for its development. And these loans and grants that we see that we're talking about today are always the best kind. They allow the local communities to decide what's best. They allow them to decide where their needs can be met the easiest, and it spurs economic growth, and ultimately the end result is more jobs. And of course, that is ultimately a goal for all of us, to making sure that the men and women who live and work in this area, that they have jobs and also security in those jobs and well-paying jobs. Rainsville is sort of known as the crossroads of Sand Mountain. Its geographical location and the hardworking people here make it the kind of area that's poised for great growth in the future. The wastewater treatment plant improvements are a sign that you're thinking about the future, and you're not just content with the way that things are in the current status. So congratulations, Mayor, with all your team and the council as y'all work toward doing that. Look forward to working with USDA as we look at more projects like this. And again, it's a real honor to have the Undersecretary with us today from Washington, D.C., and having a chance for her to be here personally to talk about this grant that's coming up, and also with Director Davis, and have his presence here in North Alabama as well. So let me say with that, it's a great honor for me to represent the 4th Congressional District, and certainly represent DeKalb County and Rainsville in Washington, D.C., and have an opportunity to represent you on those issues and work for you and try to make sure that we try to do what's best for not only our state, but also for our region of the state. So thank you for letting me be here. I look forward to working with you on future grants. And at this time, I'll turn it over to Ronnie Davis.
I always look forward to the opportunity coming to North Alabama and spending time with good folks. It's one of the things that we enjoy most about what I do is dealing with rural communities and rural small town people. I grew up in a small town and small communities. I tell everybody I graduated from a small school. I was in the top 28% of my class. Some days I was number 28, some days I was number 1. But there were only 28 of us. But we were a small family group of people, and we enjoyed life, and a lot of us have gone on to do some really good things in this world. And I've been very fortunate to be blessed with this opportunity to work in the state of Alabama. Congressman, we live in a great state. Lisa, we love 3 things here we take very close to heart, and that's our children, our grandchildren, and our football. So you can be nice about either team, because you never know who you're talking to. Somebody back there is a big Alabama fan, though. I don't know who is. I have a high regard for him. Lisa Minson comes to us as our Undersecretary for Rural Development. She's been with us since November of 2014. She was appointed by President Obama to serve rural development, and confirmed by the Senate, and we have thoroughly enjoyed working with her. She brings a whole new breath of life to us, and I have to say she does an outstanding job of herding cats. She's got 47 state directors across the country to have to deal with. Every one of them got a different issue, and including me. And but she does a great job of bringing us all together, and then she's an expert in using financial tools to improve economic security for the working poor. Ms. Mensa has experienced it in private sector, financial sector, as she has worked extensively with small and micro business developing and housing and financial saving policies. And then, you know, it's good to, and we were excited about this when she came on, to know that we had somebody who came to us with something other than a political issue, local agenda. Somebody had heart and was looking out for the best interests of rural communities, and we're proud of that. Prior to joining the USDA, she was the founding executive director of the Initiative on Financial Security at Aspen Institute. In that role, she led a national bipartisan effort with leaders of financial institutions, nonprofit executives, and experts to promote solutions to complex problems for helping more Americans save money, buy homes, and become financially secure. Ms. Mensa began her career in commercial banking at Citibank before joining the Ford Foundation, where she was responsible for the country's largest philanthropic grant and loan portfolio of investments for rural America. Born and raised in Oregon, she's the daughter of an immigrant from Ghana and of a former Iowa farm girl, so she's got roots in rural community. She resides in Maryland with her husband and her 2 children. We're just proud to have you here today. Thank you for coming. We've, as Congressman can tell you, we've done a lot of good things in this part of the state. We're standing in one of them right here. I occasionally have opportunities for people to come talk to me about building an agplex. I said, well, go to Rainsville, start there and work your way down. If you can't afford that one, cut it up pieces till you get one you can afford. So, but we do appreciate the funding, Congressman, that you helped bring to us, and we try to bring back to this state in order to better the lives of rural community people. And Lisa, we appreciate you coming to share this moment with us, so I'll turn it over to you.
Wow, that's a beautiful introduction, a little long, but thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Mayor Jones, and to your city council members, many of whom I had the pleasure to meet. Thank you for a big welcome. I've already eaten catfish. I am planning to eat some more, and I am thrilled to be back in Alabama. This was the first state I chose to come to when I was appointed to this position. And my second, I didn't get to go to the north the last time, so I'm really glad to be here. I am really thankful for the Northeast Alabama Agribusiness Center, to the board that I just met, for allowing us to be here in this beautiful complex. And I'm so impressed. This is what it means. I see a lot of numbers. I'm sure the congressman knows. Reams of budgets, and this is the real thing. You get to see the faces, the people that worked a whole decade to bring a center like this, so I appreciate this. I also want to thank our rural development staff. A lot of times government, federal employees don't get a lot of praise, and I want to praise, I'm very proud of my team. Ronnie Davis is a tremendous state director. I want to say shout out to Andrew Wackerly. Andy, would you raise your hand? Our area director, Kent Crumley, our area specialist, Lupe Kirby, also our area specialist, Lupe Baker there, and Beverly Hilton, who's wonderfully behind the counter. These are just a terrific team. We are a very interesting agency of the federal government. We live and work in the communities in which we serve. So the team that I just introduced, they're here with you in Alabama. They're not just DC people like I am. They're positioned to help, and they're positioned here with their minds and their hearts so that we can make good decisions. As Congressman Adderholt mentioned, we're here today to really celebrate a really important level of funding. This is important funding. Our announcement is to announce $1.9 million loan for this water and waste disposal, for the improvements to this, and a grant of $830,000. That's a very big deal for us. On the $1.9 million loan, it's an interest rate of 2.5%, which is fixed for 30 years. So if there are any bankers in the room with me, that's an affordable interest rate. When you get 30-year money for 2.5% fixed, that's good. And that's really why this is such an important portfolio. And it's a portfolio that your congressman has much responsibility for. So we are very proud of this work. This kind of funding is so much a part of the tradition of stewardship and investment. Our USDA staff researched some of the prior funding that's happened here in the city of Rainsville, and they shared with me that we provided some or all of the initial funding for the development of the sewer system here in Rainsville, dating back to 1978. And we also made more loans and investments in 2002. So we put it all together, there's been about $4 million in grant funds and over $3.5 million in low-interest loans made right here in your city. It means that your city leaders have really been working hard with you as citizens to bring together these kind of impressive loans and grants facilities. Now, I often like to ask, is there anybody under 30 here in this room? So if you are, Ronnie, don't count. Go ahead. Because I like to say, when you're making a 30-year investment, you all who are under 30, you're the ones who are going to be around to see this thing flourish. You'll be the taxpayers that help repay that. You're the future. And so this is a very long-term investment. Whenever we're in infrastructure, like water and sewer upgrades, there's such a key factor. The mayor said it earlier. This is how places grow. And I'm so proud that this is our portfolio. Let me say a little more about the whole country which rural development serves. And I don't just have to chase after 47 state directors. I get to go out and see what's happening in other countries, other states. Just this last week, we released our progress report, and that shows what we do as an agency. We have about $30 billion in investments that we make each year in communities like this very one. We can only work in rural areas. And this funding supported over 170,000 projects throughout rural America. So that could mean thousands of rural businesses, more than 141,000 homes, a record level 1.8 billion of community facilities like this one. This is what our money does throughout the country. And it's the reason we're here today, because this kind of investment in our water and sewer systems, that's what rural America needs to thrive. And I'm very proud that we're still in this business. Closer to home, I wanted to mention a few other projects that we've been involved in the area. Single-family housing here in Rainsville and throughout DeKalb County. This is an important line of work for us. The Farmers Telecommunications Cooperative has used USDA funds to develop broadband and communications infrastructure for residential and commercial customers here in DeKalb and surrounding counties. The Sand Mountain Electric Cooperative has provided electric service and has used USDA funds to assist local towns. And local poultry farmers are using energy grants to install solar panels to help improve energy efficiencies for their agribusiness operations. And telemedicine services throughout DeKalb County have been partly funded by USDA. So I'm very proud of the difference that rural development makes in the lives of its residents. I like to say that sometimes government works, but it's only when we have the right partners. And that's what we're really celebrating here today. I'm very thankful to Congressman Adderholt for his leadership and his support of our programs. Without his efforts and the funding provided by the committee he stewards in Congress, we wouldn't be able to fulfill our mission. It's very important to have a congressman who understands what's underneath those numbers. And for him, I know they're not just numbers. They represent people. They represent progress. They represent rural America. So I'm looking forward to continuing to work with him to ensure that our investments contribute to rural growth. I often say that without rural growth, the whole country can't grow. So we're very linked. We don't just have two Americas, rural and urban. Rural America has about 46 million people who identify as being in rural America. But that 46 million is producing the food and the fuel and the fiber and the durable goods. Secretary Vilsack likes to say, we can all do something else because somebody else lives in rural America and it produces our food. So I'm very proud of that work. I want to close by saying that we are very committed to the future right here of Rainsville, of DeKalb County, to the quality of life. And that's why we're making these kind of investments. I want to thank you, Mayor and Congressman, for allowing me to join you in today's announcement. And I want to commemorate that with a plaque we have for a certificate of partnership. And could I ask that the members of the City Council join us up here for a photo as well. But I want to thank you all very much for listening to me and for inviting me here and for this moment. So thank you very much.
Project with rural development was in '78, and it was what started the sewer plant for Rainsville. And that really got the ball rolling as far as the growth in this city.
Bowling was the mayor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Larry Bowling was the mayor. And that partnership with rural development goes back to '78. And so we have a long relationship with rural development, and we're looking forward to one in the future. So again, thank you, and thank you, Congressman, for being here. I think Mayor Pro Tem Lincolnfield wants to say a few words.
I just wanted to reiterate some of the thanks to everyone that's helped us with all these rural development, USDA, everything that you've done for us, from the people that does the engineering all the way up to Congressman Adderhope. I'd just like to really sincerely say from the mayor, city council, and everybody that's involved with that, I really thank you and appreciate it. The growth of Rainsville, I came here in 1960, and I have seen a lot of change in this town. And the wastewater treatment plant is one of the things that's, as some people call it, like a necessary evil, because it is something that's hard to pay for, but it's something you have to have to grow. I mean, there's no growth without it. And while I've been on the council for the 12 years, we have connected to Fife, and we've connected to Sylvania, which is around us. We've connected to Northeast College and Powell's, and it's been a growth thing for the whole community for it to spread out like that. And so, again, I would sincerely like to thank everyone for helping the city of Rainsville, the citizens of this great town, and thank you. How you doing? Good. Good to see y'all.
I want to come talk to you and get your approval on building it. I want to build a subdivision. We're behind Plainview School. I bought 20 acres there, and I want to subdivide it to build houses on it. I got a plot so you can tell what's kind of going on with it. But it's, and I talked to Roger about it. And I think the only thing that I wasn't sure about was the cul-de-sac. He told me what it had to be, so that wasn't gonna be no problem with us. We got 20 acres there, I want to subdivide.
Okay. What we talked about is, we had been talking about doing, changing that ordinance to 100 foot, and changing the ordinance instead of using concrete or metal tiles to using the double wall plastic. And that was the two big things that we were going to change. Right now, we're not going to change the tar and gravel. That's going to stay probably the same for right now. We may change that later on down, but this is going to come in under that. The only thing I asked him to do is if we could do the 100-foot cul-de-sac because of the buses and the garbage trucks, and then change the tile to the double wall plastic instead of the concrete, or because concrete's bust over a period of time, the metal ones rust out over a period of time, and so that was something that we had talked about. Now, the only other thing that I knew of that was, and I don't know for sure, did y'all talk about the zoning?
Yeah, I talked to Richard.
Okay, this has got to go before the zoning.
Yeah, Richard told me that right now the state is something in rule, and you'd have to bring the paperwork back for your applying to go through the zoning board to get it changed to.
Right.
Yeah, I believe it's agriculture right now.
Right.
But that was the original zoning in 1983, and the population of Rainsville has shifted out towards that area. So it's probably time to have that area rezoned anyways.
Well, thing that I've seen here in Rainsville the last 5 or 6 years, I used to buy 4 foot. But there's so many people now that, since I've been building the houses, I've been doing this for 6, 7 years now. So I get a lot of calls from people up north wanting to move to this area. And I'm talking about they're looking for a lot of smaller houses, they're not looking for big houses, they're looking for smaller houses. And that's one reason I want to get, into, like, most everything I've sold here in the last year or two is people at RTI that's moved into working RTI and bought homes here. And I think it'd be good for Rainsville to have a subdivision that close to school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all that.
And one of the things that I don't think a lot of people realize is that what you're doing right now has a benefit to the city as a whole. One of the revenue sources that the city gets is through the ad valorem taxes each year. And right now, the taxes on that land that you own is not minimal, but it is a lower tax than what it would be once it's subdivided and let's say there's 20 houses on there. That's just more revenue that comes in for the city. So what you're doing is a good thing for the city, and I applaud you and thank you with your efforts.
Appreciate that.
But I'd say just submit it to Richard through the zoning, and I don't think you're gonna have any,
I've been working with Rick.
you don't have any opposition on getting the zoning changed.
Appreciate it. It'll be, 24 houses will be built there, 24.
I do have one small request. I'm a big Alabama fan. If you could call it Nick Saban Drive, I would appreciate that.
You know how close I come to it now. Yeah, when I went to get the 911 address for that road, they asked me, so what's the name of the road? And that's the first thing that popped in my mind was Nick Slater Drive. And I stood there for a minute, but when I bought the property, when I go over in the morning to, check everything out, see what's going on, I see 5 deer every morning out in the pine trees and the field, and I thought, well, I can't name it Nick Slater, so I'll name it Deer Street. So that's what I named it.
Well, good thing it's not hunting season right now, because they might not be 5 deer when we go back the next time.
Yeah, it's true. But the thing too, that everybody loves that location over there. And, I've had two calls this past week from people in Georgia that's wanting to move to there. They wonder if I had anything ready. And I told them that I was looking, fixing to get some started quickly, get the paperwork done. And they got small children. And they want to know how close it was to school, and I told them, I said, well, you can walk to school.
So,
Well, they got excited then.
yeah, like I said, I'm actually liaison over the zoning boards too, so I don't see that you're gonna have any issue. But if you bring it to Richard and he gets it out,
I
I don't
appreciate
think
that.
anything will have any problems with that.
All right. Y'all can keep that, I got the board.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Posey.
Go ahead and get started. Please stand for a moment of prayer. Father, Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for your many blessings. Lord, we're thankful for the ceremony we had just a few minutes ago. We're thankful for our community and the many things you've blessed us with. Lord, we pray that you would continue to be in our meeting as we conduct the business of Rainsville. Lord, give us wisdom and knowledge and help us to make wise decisions. Lord, we ask you to watch over our citizens, keep them safe, and especially those of our employees that are in harm's way oftentimes during their workday. These things we ask in your name. Amen. Please, place the flag. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go ahead and call the meeting to order. Graham?
Present.
Holt? Here. Ledbetter?
Here.
Freeman? Here. Lingerfeld?
Here.
You guys checked out the minutes from the previous meeting?
I move that we accept the minutes as presented from the city clerk and dispense with the reading thereof.
Motion by Graham, dispense with the reading, approve the minutes as presented, second by Ledbetter. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Got a updated contract for the leachate disposal with GEK. Of course, as you know, last meeting or meeting before you guys approved the contract, they had an officer with the company that I think retired or left, and the new officer coming in that was signing this as a different guy. And they kind of wanted to tweak a couple of things. One of them had to do with the previous contract called for an actual starting date. I know me and Joey talked about an issue with the billing. Needed to get that corrected. The other one was they didn't want to commit to an open-ended agreement where every time we would request testing, they would be responsible for half of it. They wanted to limit that to 2 times a year, which I think is, sounds fairly reasonable. They just didn't want an open-end commitment that they would pick up half the cost. That's the only changes to the contract. They wanted to know if they could do a pen and ink side note and carry on. I told them it would be a lot cleaner deal if we just put it in writing and we approved the contract. I thought that was a better option. So that's what the new contract is. Everything else is the same. The previous one, same rate.
I move that we empower the mayor to sign this contract with GEK.
Motion by Graham, second by Holt. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I've got, the police department is needing another vehicle. One of their vehicles is about to quit on them, so Ricky has found a Ford Escape, 2011 Ford Escape, that we can buy. It's low mileage for $11,650, and then take the other vehicle we have and put it on Gov Deals and sell it to get some of this money back. So I make a motion that we buy the 2011 Ford Escape for $11,650.
I second it.
Got a motion by Lingerfeld, second by Freeman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
There's some paperwork for the upcoming election that has to be went over. The first one is an ordinance establishing the salary for the mayor and council to be paid twice a month. Does anybody have any comments on that? Do we need to just leave it as is, or go, going forward?
Leave it as is.
I'm talking about changing the pay.
Yeah, for the next administration.
Yeah. I would say, maybe the pay's pretty fair. I know we looked at a wage study from Auburn a couple of years ago and looked for city employees, but I think we're on par with our peer cities.
One of the other ones is for the election to be at-large establishing of places. So we would leave that at-large, so we would have places, running places, for the city council.
I checked into that too, and they said till we could run, like the way Fort Payne does it, where you can run it at the top. Yeah, but you have to have a population of at least 11,000 to do that, so ours has to continue to be in places.
It's lawful, that can be done.
Essentially, we're leaving everything as it is right now.
The next one was to establish the place numbers, 1 through 5, and that we'll leave that just like it is, if that's okay. The other one was to appoint 3 additional election officials. So we probably need to do that. I don't have any. I didn't. We could do that later on when we think about that. We'll come back to that. That's the only things I have, is those items up there.
One we got two things. The first one, I've got a list here too that I'd like to hire the field rooms workers. We actually got our first tournament happening, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. I got a list of names here, I can read them off, or I can send them to Kelly over and do it. And I got a motion to hire the field rooms workers.
Second. Motion by Freeman, second by Holt, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And one more thing, we passed in our last budget last year about having some bins built up at the ball fields where we keep our sand and our filled up or brick dust and stuff, and they never got done. We actually had to rebid that. We did that, and we've got a new bid in, and it's actually $8,000 cheaper than we approved last year. So I want to make a motion that we allow home painters to build our bins to hold our overflow.
I'll second that.
And this would be for like the brick dust for the
Brick
field.
dust and sand.
Motion by Freeman, second by Ledbetter, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And what that does, every time it rains, it don't wash out across the parking lot. It's got some room that it actually stays, so it's not less than a year. That's all I have.
We need to amend, this is not on the agenda, but this came up, and it has to do with our USDA loan, which, speaking of, I think everybody at this table knows and is aware that Joey Graham had a huge part in the USDA loan and furthering the sewer department. So Joey, thank you for that, because you made an impact on our community that way. But there is one item in item 12, the full amount we said correctly, but it was misstated at the meeting. It was said that the actual loan would be 1.95 million, but it's 1.97 million. We've known the numbers, they've been in the court not the court documents, the loan documents. But that does need to be changed in our minutes because it was misstated. So I make a motion that we amend December 7th, 2015 council meetings, item number 12, for the loan amount to be 1.97 million.
Second that.
Motion by Ledbetter, second by Freeman, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then the last thing I have is there is a tax refund that we need to give to Bruce Wright for Wright's equipment. He paid taxes on labor, which is not appropriate, so we will refund him $4,799.10, and then we'll turn around and give RDS a receipt of us refunding him, and they will refund us. So the state of Alabama has already agreed that he shouldn't have paid his taxes. So I make a motion, we pay Bruce Wright with Wright's equipment, $4,799.10.
I second that.
Motion by Ledbetter, second by Freeman, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The state had to do the same thing, where it overpaid the state actually had to pay it back as a labor tax money.
And that's all I have.
Before I bring mine up, should we approve the things Roger had for elections? Should that have been approved? You need to bring those up in the form of a motion.
We need to,
I'll vote on it.
I would table the,
the three additional.
yes.
But it's additional works, they're not already ordinances as well.
We're not
There-
changing it.
No, we're not changing it. I don't think we got to do, I don't think we have to do anything, so we're just changing it.
Yeah.
Now, we could go ahead and make a motion if we're going to leave them as is.
Where the upcoming election.
And I can do this one.
I just didn't know if we needed to do that before I continue.
I'll make a motion to leave these three as is. And then we'll talk about this one.
I'll second.
Motion by Ledbetter, second by Ledbetter, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I make a motion that we approve the purchase of a security system with surveillance cameras at City Hall for a price of $1,723.
Second.
before we vote on this. This is through Farmers Telecommunications, so I do have to recuse myself from this vote.
We have a motion by Holt, second by Green, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Two abstain. That's all I have.
Okay, I have a few things. First one was we had first reading of first reading of ordinance 2/16/2016 last meeting. This is amending ordinance 2/17/2011. Essentially, this is lowering the tax rate on the usage tax for agricultural and agricultural and manufacturing. The manufacturing use tax rate will be dropped down to 2%, and the agricultural use tax will be dropped down to 1%. What we're doing is we're amending section 13 of ordinance 2/17/2011, subset A and subset B. I move that we pass and adopt ordinance 2/16/2016.
We have a motion to pass and adopt the state ordinance, second by Ledbetter. And a roll call vote, Graham,
Yes.
Holt, yes. Ledbetter.
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Rainsville. Yes. I vote yes. Motion carries.
We have resolution 2/16/2016. This is a hazard mitigation plan resolution. This is us adopting or basically rolling ourselves in with the whole county for hazard mitigation. If need be, I can read this if anybody's interested. There's a lot of whereas in there for us. I make a motion that we pass and adopt resolution 2/16/2016.
I second that.
Motion by Graham to pass and adopt the state resolution, second by Ledbetter. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
With the sewer upgrade project that we currently have going on, the project's already, is nearing completion of phase 1. The stated bond and grant has yet to reach a point to where we can draw down on that money. However, some of the invoices are starting to roll in. We currently have 3 invoices, 2 of which are from Land Environmental for $6,679.38. And then we have 1 invoice from BH Craig Construction in an amount of $180,687.15. We've been in a fortunate position that we fast-tracked the bridge bond to pay for the reconstruction of Shavy's Bridge and Boozer Bridge, and those projects have yet to start. We did so to help out with the grant portion of this bond, and it was very beneficial in that regards, and also to lock in a lowest interest rate possible on those projects, which I firmly believe that we've got that money at the lowest possible interest rate we were going to receive from the city. And that was a $1.5 million bond. We used that to pay off a $300,000 debt that was associated with the Agri Center. It was an interest-only debt that we've been paying interest on only since 2009. So we have relieved the Agri Center of that burden. At last count, we've been using this money also to pay down these invoices as they come in, with the caveat that once we get the grant and USDA loan, that we would refund this bond fund. I firmly believe that we have enough to pay these 2 invoices and still retain enough money in that bond fund to cover the cost of the renovations at the old Weekly Post building. But once we pay these bonds, I don't think we'll have enough to pay the next round of invoices that come in. So we're probably gonna have to look at taking a short-term construction loan to pay any future invoices that come in from LAD or from Fred Construction. And then, of course, that construction loan will be immediately paid off as soon as we're able to draw down on the funds that are coming in. Am I correct, Ms. Kelly, in stating that I think we have enough money in the fund right now? Okay. I'm gonna make a motion that we pay these invoices from LAD and Craig Construction out of the bridge bond. Once again, with the caveat that once we have the funds come in from the USDA loan and grant, that they reimburse this fund.
I second that.
Motion by Greg, second by Fred. All in favor, say aye. Opposed?
But back to, this won't be the last invoice that we get. So moving forward, we probably need to designate someone to spearhead a short-term construction loan. And I think it's naturally obvious that since we have one member on here who is a loan officer, a very successful bank, that he may help us out with that. Do you think you could spearhead that project for us, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, you know, there's just conflict there. And what the money is. I don't care if they look at
Wherever you want, just on the other line.
Okay.
yeah, there's conflict. So I don't care. Need to figure out the time on when the money's coming. I feel like it's preferable if we don't want. But it's, if we don't have any choice to pay the bills and string it out.
The way they were talking earlier, it could be 2 to 3 months. And there'll be some more invoices, they usually send them that month. Off that project.
That being said, I think that's good enough time tonight, so I have nothing left. We forgot to discuss the biggest issue tonight. Plainview Geraldine, first round state playoffs tonight at the Civic Center. Yeah.
Well, that excited Dobbins so much he just waited.
Early seat.
I make a motion to pay the monthly.
We just have one that looked a little bit excessive. I'd like to hold it if we could and look at it. It's kind of a lot of money for a chair. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to look at these, but I would like to hold this to our next meeting.
I'll make a motion to pay all the monthly bills except for